Good morning and welcome to the Business Heroes Podcast. I am your host, Victor Pyle. And as you can see, I'm by myself today. Yeah. I posted with both Mia and I on the thumbnail because I was really hoping and praying that she would get better, but she is under the weather this morning. And so I'm by myself here today. But we're going to go ahead anyway because we've got something really great to offer you. And for those of you who are watching for the first time, my name is Victor Pyle. I said that already. And my beautiful wife, Mia. Together, we have founded the Business Heroes Podcast. Well, we founded the organization Pain Unwasted. Pain Unwasted. You see, back in 2017, she had suffered from a nervous breakdown after the birth of our first child. She had postpartum depression, and a lot of things, in addition, happened that kind of spiraled her into a really bad space. But through the help of God, a beautiful place called Wildwood, and so many other things, she is now a mental health advocate, coach, speaker, author, and everything else that goes with that. And I'm her supportive husband, doing what I can to make this thing happen. And so we are here with the Business Heroes podcast. Usually we're interviewing someone who we deem to be a business hero, but today we wanted to talk about something that we have worked on and created um, through the vehicle of the 4-Step Brain Detox. As you saw, the title was 4 Steps to Combating Negativity. And we have put together an ebook that is for free and that we pray that you'll find to be very, very useful in helping you combat negative thoughts. And we're going to talk a bit about that. First, I want to go to our word of the day. And unfortunately, I don't have it on screen today, or at least not on your screen. But the word of the day today is the word detox. Detox. And that word, at least one of the several definitions that are there, is the meaning of detox is a regimen or treatment intended to remove toxins and impurities from the body. Remove toxins and impurities from the body. And so, how in the world does somebody detox their brain? Well, I don't mean to be crude, but work with me for a second. Because, every day, or hopefully every day, we all make a trip to the bathroom. And there's typically two reasons that you go. One is to output liquid, and the other is to output solid. And so let's focus on the solid part. See, because what we find is when people don't drink enough water or people don't eat enough of the right foods like fiber and such, then we can have a situation called constipation. And for those of you that ever been constipated, it's not a good feeling. And so even if you're not constipated, you've got stuff that just needs to come out, because if you hold on to it too long, you can have some serious problems. So the same thing kind of happens with the brain. There's a lot coming at us from day to day, a lot of temptations, trials, um, people getting on your nerves and that type of thing. And it's very possible that if we hold on to the negativity that comes at us without correctly processing the thoughts and everything, then we can suffer from a mental constipation. And if we don't do something, if we don't visit our mental toilet, so to speak, then just a piling up of all that negativity can lead to some bad things. If you were to Google stress and any disorder, you will find that there's links to like everything. One of my favorite authors, Ellen White, says that 9/10 of disease stem from the mind. And if that is true, and it is, then could it be that the key to a lot of the disorders that people are going through, whether we're talking about diabetes, cancer, high blood pressure, um, osteoporosis, I don't know, but just about anything that we are going through can be linked to stress. And if we learn effective ways to deal with our stress, it may save us a ton of money from trips to the hospital. And I work at a hospital, and I see every day, and I see people that have so many different disorders. A lot of them, they don't even know how they ended up where they ended up, but you can hear them talking about stress at home, stress with finances, and so many other stresses. But being able to deal with the negativity and negative thoughts in an effective way can be very helpful in not only gaining clarity of thought, but protecting our health. And so I'm going to share this screen really quick and just kind of give you a sneak peek of this brain detox book, and we're going to tell you how to get that soon. All right, let's see. Here we go. Entire screen. All right, so you can see that is once again our brand new ebook called the 4-Step Brain Detox: 21 Days to Gaining and Maintaining a Clean Mind. Now, I'll tell you this: this process doesn't take 21 days, but science shows that if you are trying to work on building a new habit, that 21 days is the way to go. And so we'll go inside and tell you why it says 21 days. But truthfully, this process, this 4-step brain detox, which is something both Mia and I have used, is very, very effective. And so, and thank you, Raven, for saying great topic. Appreciate your comment there. All right, so we're going to go on in. Okay, and we're not gonna like read through the thing, but and those of you that do want it, it'll be downloadable. It'll be a PDF that you can even print out the templates that are in there. But we're just gonna touch briefly on the 4 steps of the brain detox. And so the first step is what we call today I feel. Today I feel. So, you know, one thing that people tend to pull this off the screen. People don't like to acknowledge their feelings. They feel like their feelings can be considered evil or bad, or you know not worthy of being acknowledged. Just ignore your feelings and just do what you need to do. But God gave us feelings. God gave us feelings, and so trying to ignore how you feel, even if you feel, I don't know, like cursing for, you know, like a better example. God knows how you feel. It doesn't make sense to try to hide your feelings. And so you have to be honest, say, look, I'm mad. Like, I feel like throwing something through the window. Like, acknowledge how you feel. And that's the very first step of the brain detox. Like, and let me give you some context. So the brain detox is a journaling exercise. It's a journaling exercise that goes through the 4 steps that helps you, instead of just being stuck in the cycle of thinking the same negative thoughts all the time, actually if telling your brain you're doing something about this, telling the devil you're doing something about this, so you don't have to be stuck. Okay. And so again, back to today I feel. So in this part, you pretty much just write down, after writing today I feel, you put your emotions. Today I feel mad. Today I feel sad. Today I feel happy. Today I feel like a terrible person. I feel like a failure. I feel broken but hopeful. Whatever it is that you feel, and acknowledging your feelings. And sometimes, depending on the day, you might actually feel two opposite feelings during the same day about different things, you know? So just put down your feelings. So that's step one. Step two is identifying your ants. Identifying your ants. So, what does that mean? So, ants, and I don't know how to make this screen any bigger, so forgive me if it appears small. But if you get it, you can see it and expand it as big as you want. But with ants, ants is the acronym for automatic negative thoughts. Automatic negative thoughts. So, these are the thoughts that just pop into your mind. They're almost like the background music of your day if you let it become that. If you fail a test, that automatic thought might be, you see, you're stupid. You can't learn. You don't know how to do anything. You're not as good as your sister. Or even with positive things that happen, you'll find negative things happening. Oh, you could have passed the test. It was a fluke. You got lucky that time. Oh, And see, a lot of these thoughts come in first person, so you'd be saying, I got lucky, or the professor made the test easy, or somebody compliments you and say, hey, that's really a really nice jacket you have on. Well, they didn't say that last week, so maybe they hated my wardrobe last week. Or, so many things that, whether it's positive things or negative things, there's so much junk in our heads that, the negative often sounds more true than the positive. And so these automatic negative thoughts need to be identified. They're kind of like actual ants. Like if anybody's ever had ant infestations in your house, you know how ridiculous those things are. Unfortunately, that's something we've experienced. And you have the trail of ants just, crawling along the windowsill, down the cabinet, around. It's ridiculous, and they're very difficult to get rid of. But again, this brain detox exercise may just be the effective way for you to help get rid of these. And so, once you identify what the negative thoughts are, then you have to ask these questions. One, and take them one at a time. One, is it true? Like, is this particular thought actually something true? And you might feel like it is, but if you think about it, usually the thought is not true. It's just how you feel about it at the time. Is it true to Jesus? That'll be the next question you ask. And so it might be true to you, but if you put it in the context of, okay, what does God really think about this? Is this true to God? It's probably not. And then the next question would be, is this a cognitive distortion or a lie that my brain is believing? So let's go back to the example of the test. Um, if we say the test was a fluke, or it just happened to pass, well, is that true? Well, if you think about it, if you actually put in the time to study, if you actually got into study groups, or you have a decent handle on the information, then would it be true that it's a fluke? It'd be a fluke if you put in absolutely positively no effort. But if you actually put in time to do it, would it be a fluke? And you have to say, well, no. And even if you feel like it is, again, bring the question to Jesus. Is it true to Jesus that it was a fluke? You probably have to say no in this case. Probably. I don't know. This is an example. Um, but the next question would be, well, is there a cognitive distortion or lie that my brain is believing? So chew on that. If you're thinking that you passed the test on a fluke, well, why would you think that? Is it possible that you are simply dealing with some imposter syndrome? Is it that, what was I gonna say, that you somewhere deep down inside don't believe you are good enough or smart enough or capable enough, and these feelings are conflicting with reality, that you would self-deprecate every good thing that you do? Worth consideration. Okay. So we'll go on to part three. The next part is the conversation with Jesus. And this part is very effective too, because in this now you've identified how you feel, you've identified the automatic negative thoughts that come to your mind. So now is the opportunity to talk with God about these automatic negative thoughts, to lay your feelings and your thoughts before him, and to ask him to help you believe what is true, the truth about yourself, the truth about who you are in him. Like, this is the time to do that. And now we're jumping over to, I don't know, it seems like the most important part I was very short on. So let me jump back a little bit, because I'll read the example. So for example, um, your prayer might look like this: Lord, I'm tired of feeling stuck in this endless cycle of negativity. I feel like everyone expects me to be someone who I'm not, or that I'm not as gifted as my sister. Well, okay, the truth is, identifying the truth. You've asked those questions. Truth is, I do have gifts that are different from hers. She's more outgoing, more of the outgoing super achiever. I'm more quiet and into my art, but it's hard not to feel like she's more valued by others than I am, even to myself. But you said, identifying truth again, but you said that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. You said that everyone in the body of Christ is important and that they need each other's gifts to be a blessing to each other and to the world. Help me to embrace my uniqueness and believe that you value me even when I feel others don't, especially when I don't value myself. Help me to stop believing the lies that are keeping me from being all that you've made me to be. In your name I pray, amen. So that's just an example of what somebody's conversation with Jesus could look like in step 3. So jumping over to the last part of the process now. I love how my wife puts this because we've talked about the analogy of going to the toilet to have a bowel movement. And so stopping at this conversation with Jesus would kind of be like having let go of your burdens and then not wipe. Like you don't do that. That's nasty. That's despicable. But I digress. So this very important part is kind of like the wiping up because, well, let me just go into it. This part is the 5 things you are grateful for. 5 things you're grateful for. We always want to end on praise. Sometimes in a prayer, even though we've laid out our burdens and our cares to Jesus, there might still be just some residual negativity that's there. But ending on praise, ending on things that are thoughts that are helpful. The Bible says, and I think it's Philippians, I don't want to misquote, but whatsoever things are true, lovely, of good report, etc., think on these things. And so we want to end on praise. We want to end on those positives. We have a statement from the Greater Good Science Center that talks about the benefits of gratefulness. Studies show that more grateful people may be healthier, and others suggest that scientifically designed practices to increase gratitude can also improve people's health and encourage them to adopt healthier habits. Many more studies have examined possible connections between gratitude and various elements of psychological well being. In general, more grateful people are happier, more satisfied with their lives, less materialistic, and less likely to suffer from burnout. Additionally, some studies found that gratitude practices, like keeping a gratitude journal or writing a letter of gratitude, can increase people's happiness and overall positive mood. And so there's even science is recognizing the benefits of being grateful, being thankful. And and so just listing just five things that you're thankful for can be very helpful to help end the exercise in a more positive note and not ending on the despair that you started off with the negative thoughts and the negative feelings. It's not to say that poof, everything will be gone, but you've at least improved on some level your attitude, your demeanor, your outlook by doing this exercise and by ending on praise. Again, this is like making sure you have cleaned, that you made proper use of toilet paper in the process of doing what you need to do. I have a little girl that's crying, and I'm going to pause real quick to see what's going on, but don't go away. I'll be right back. And I'll just it's amazing what a hug and a kiss will do. They are fine. Anyway, man, um, thank you for welcoming that interruption. I got another comment here from Dr. Anthony Paul. Gratitude does not cost one thing, and you can show the same gratitude every day and will have the same effect. Thank you. This comes from Dr. Anthony Paul, PhD. Okay, so he knows what he's talking about. Thanks for adding that, Doc. Um, yeah, so ending on praise is really just an amazing thing to help curb your attitude. Like, oh, I I think I've already said what I could say on this, but here's what we're going to do. here. Once you finish that exercise, and you can always go beyond 5, but we've created 21 days of templates. And so you can actually go and print this out. And we made it easy. All you have to do is print the last 21 days, 21 pages of the document. So you've got your today I feel here, 2 lines of that. You've got space to put your automatic negative thoughts. You've got space to journal your conversation with Jesus and to list 5 things you're grateful for. And like I said, 21 days, you can definitely, just print out those last 21 pages and everything. And, it won't be an online flip book like this, like you can actually, see, go ahead and download. Um, yes, download that document. And that is not part of what we're trying to do here today. Okay. All right, cool. So that covers the brain detox. I mean, if anybody's got any questions well, the question would be, how in the world do you get your copy? So in the description, you will see the links in the description pretty much. It will say to get your free ebook, and it shows the link that you can click on to sign up to get your copy of the Brain Detox ebook. And feel free to share it. Forward them the email to the link, or copy the link out of the description and send it to somebody that you think would benefit from doing this. If you think somebody tends to be in a negative state, or that friend, got nothing good to say, or nothing good to say about themselves. The glass is always half empty. The sky is always cloudy. You know, just see if it maybe, just maybe, it'll be a benefit to them. Maybe you can go through it with them a couple of times so they can, um, so you can help just kind of get them jump started on how it works. So that's what I'll say on the brain detox. Now I'll also say this, because um, the brain detox is really, so we've launched also an online course. Mia had the beautiful opportunity to speak. I think it was last summer. She was asked to speak for a country in Africa virtually, and that one speaking engagement led to a week of prayer, which led to, I think it was about maybe 3 weeks or 6 sessions of a training on mental health, and empowering and equipping people with tools to help, destigmatize. Like I said, it was a country in Africa. And what we found, what we were learning from the pastor there, was that, um, the view of mental health, and this might not just be in the third world, but even in some regards, the United States, or considered, countries considered, first world countries or whatever. But there's a lot of stigma surrounding mental health. And when you don't understand something, you are kind of left to your own ignorance, unfortunately. And so, the pastor shared with us just how mental health issues are demonized. They think you have a demon, and they kind of, put you off to the side. I won't even go into the things that are actually done. What I can safely say is, um, there's just certain places that are not effectively equipped to deal with mental health issues, especially in countries where there appears to be a lot of demon possession. Some people don't know how to separate demon possession from an actual mental health issue, and they lump it all into one. And so if you're a churchgoer, regardless of denomination, um, you're not going to talk about being depressed, or you're not going to talk about hearing voices, because you don't want, to be ostracized and demonized. And, the way I think maybe across the world, sometimes these mental health issues, you're made to feel less than. You're made to feel like a dirty, rotten sinner that doesn't have the favor of God, and that you're cursed by God, just because of the issue that you're going through. But what people don't realize is, you know, mental illness is an illness kind of like any other illness. So, for example, um, if somebody has diabetes, like, all right, let's use a different one. If somebody's suffering from heart failure, like, you don't say that person is a heart failure. Like, you don't do that. We realize that something is going on with their heart that is impacting the rest of their body. It's causing, some, swelling in other parts of the body, um, fluid buildup in the lungs. But in the same way, like, if something is happening to the brain, it's I'm having a freeze right now. This is where I wish I had Mio right here with me, but it's all good. We're going to keep going anyway. But I guess the point is, so if somebody's having a brain failure, so to speak, which may be, what you might consider a mental health issue, then it's, although it's looked at differently, because there's something going on with the hardware of the brain, it is, things are not going to happen right also. And it's going to impact the rest of the body. It's going to impact how somebody thinks, how somebody speaks. But it's kind of put off to the side because I wish I had the words. I won't try to keep fumbling over that. But what I'm kind of boiling down to is that if we learn more about mental health, at least on a basic, I'm not saying go out and get a degree on mental health. I'm not saying spend hours and hours searching the internet. But what I am saying is when we get a better understanding, at least on a basic level, on what's going on with somebody that's having a mental health issue, then one, it will help us to not be ignorant. Two, we'll be less likely to stigmatize somebody that's going through a crisis. Three, we might be in more of a position of understanding and to sympathize. But with this training, additionally, it will help you to, it'll equip you. So the name of the course is called M Hero, the Mental Health Empowerment and Responsiveness Online Training Course. And so Mia goes through 6 different modules on the course on how, one, first she goes with her own story, her own, the nerve. Um, but while I'm getting that up, I'm going to say that the course is beautiful. It's not just because the trainer is beautiful, but because she's been able to pour in and really share not only from her studies but from her own personal experience. Let me share the screen here. Okay, share screen. All right. All right. So this is the screen. Mia, you know who Mia is, and this is some of what you learn in the course. So first module is your story, your breakthrough. When we have suffered from trauma or a crisis, it's easy to help us. It's easy for us to define ourselves negatively by that story, making it difficult to emerge from that place of pain. You will learn how to acknowledge your pain, but also to ensure that it is not wasted, that it fuels a breakthrough that can eventually help someone else in their struggles. I'm not going to read this whole page to you. Um, the other modules, identifying signs and symptoms of crisis. When Mia was going through um, her crisis, well, our crisis, I did not know what to do to help her. Like, I was clueless. I thought, okay, she's eating like 30 candy bars a day. Maybe I need to take away um, her debit card so she won't do that. But I was just so ignorant of what it was that I could actually effectively do to help. At the time, she didn't really want to hear anything about God. And this is after 15 or so years of being a missionary, teacher, principal, public speaker in juvenile detention centers, schools, churches, like all of that went out the window, and she didn't even want to hear about God. And God was all I had, like literally all I had. And I didn't know what else to do. And that's not to say God isn't enough, but God does put resources out there to help us. And I was just not aware of those resources at the time. And so after everything happened, Mia later took a course called Mental Health First Aid. And I also took the course eventually that helped to equip us and help us not only to be able to recognize and identify signs and symptoms of mental health crisis, but what to do to help. I had wished I had this information before Mia had her breakdown. But God's timing is everything. And maybe she had to go through what she went through to be here now. And so, we praise God for that. So the next module, how to find and give help, like I was just mentioning. Three, I love this. I said three, it's not necessarily three. A biblical case study. You know, if we look at some of these stories with some of our favorite Bible heroes, we may identify that some of them also had their own mental health crisis. We you don't see it as such because they're a Bible hero, and mental health issues, they didn't happen back then in the Bible. Yeah, right. So, we're only identifying one in this particular course that, and this is biblical. This is biblical. So, I mean, if you think it's not so, maybe you need to sign up to take the course. Um, Improving self care. Some people, and I used to be this way myself, and maybe I'm still not perfect at it. Just run yourself into the ground. Um, for the sake of your family, run yourself into the ground for the sake of, and this may sound bad, and I might lose some some viewers here, for the sake of the gospel. Um, but not taking care of yourself, is that biblical? I mean, even Jesus took some rest. Like he told his disciples, come away and rest a while. And just because it was mentioned once in the Bible, does that mean that they only did it once in the entire 3 years that Jesus was here on earth? So finding or making use of strategies to help you be able to breathe, woosah, give you some time to reconnect with God, and then get back up and go again instead of, it reminds me of a story that I heard about a tree cutter. This is before a chainsaw. So we're talking about just axes. And this tree cutter, he came into the company and he was like the best tree cutter in the group. But after some time, it seemed like his output was diminishing. And, one day his supervisor came up to him and said, "Hey, I wanted to talk to you about something. You came in, you were chopping down like 100 trees an hour. Okay, maybe that's a stretch. 100 trees a day, that's still a stretch, but just work with me. Um, but I've noticed over the past few months, like you're down to like 50, and the tree cutter himself said, yeah, I've been feeling the same way. I don't know what to do. I feel like I'm putting out even more energy, but producing less." And the supervisor paused and thought. He said, "When's the last time you sharpened your axe?" And tree cutter said, "Sharpen my axe? I don't got time to sharpen my axe. I'm busy cutting trees." Herein lies the problem. We need to sharpen our axes. Don't got to spend hours sharpening your axe. But when you maintain the sharp axe, you can maintain a level of production, maintain a level of energy expended, and maintain a level of sanity, decrease stress by taking time to sharpen your axe, by taking care of yourself. Some of you might be spending your day playing tennis, I don't know, taking a hike, um, reading a good book, but just pausing from the stresses and cares and worries of the week. Like it's so important, so important, so important. And if you see over here, the Brain Detox is part of that self care. It's not the only thing, but it's part of it. And that Mia actually has a sub module under the improving self care section on the Brain Detox itself. Lastly, turning bad grief into good grief. Goes through the 6 stages of grief. Um, Talks about helpful and not helpful things that people may say to somebody that is grieving. Um, what biblical grievers teach us about expressing our hearts to God, consideration when somebody dies by suicide. People can say the most ridiculous things to somebody that's grieving. And I mean, we've heard it, and it's so insensitive to say something like, well, and we've heard a personal story of somebody that we met that said, when my husband took his life by suicide, a church member came to me and said, why did he do that? Didn't he know he would go to hell? Seriously? Seriously? You're going to say that to the deceased's wife at the funeral? Like, and so we want to know how to actually help somebody that's grieving, um, and not to say the first thing that comes to your mind that's probably not helpful. I've always thought everything that comes to your head needs to be said. And so there's tips in this course that can help people with that, knowing what to do. And sometimes the best thing to do, and which I personally love, is you don't have to say anything. I typically, when somebody's grieving, I don't know what to say. But sometimes just being a presence, just being there, just put your arm around their shoulder, just be there for them to cry on, to just listen to. Sometimes that's all that's needed. I love that as an introvert. Anyway, I digress. So those are the elements of the course. We've got some testimonials of people on Mia's training and that type of thing. And so if you're interested in that, that link is also in the description. Um, we're actually planning on having a Black Friday sale. I'll tell you up front this. I wonder if I should say this on video. This course is worth quite a bit. He priced it originally at about $600 for the time and energy and research that went into this. But we're going to have a Black Friday sale where you can get this course for just $97. 97. And so just putting that out there. But there's so much, and I mean, again, the testimonials, especially, and I'll highlight this one. This These are great testimonials. This one's about 5 minutes, and it was just powerful. Anyway, um, so that's those are our special offers today. Again, the ebook is free. And again, the link's in the description. So just go check it out. Download that. You can print the workbook. Um, Send the link to others so that they can also benefit from the course and from the ebook. And of course, the course is available too. In fact, at the back of the ebook, if you get through it and you really feel like, man, this is really helpful, there's a link to the course if you want to sign up. I'd be looking out for that Black Friday sale if I were you, come this Friday. But man, uh, I never imagined I'd be doing a show without Mia. But it is what it is. And I guess we made it to the end. But if you want to know more about what we're doing, our website is painunwasted.org. It's painunwasted.org. And you can find more resources and things like that if you want to book me to speak or anything like that, or just stay updated on what's going on. Just sign up for our emails or click the link, or once you put your name and email address and anything that pops up there, um, you'll be privy to any updates or special things that we have going on. But more than that, we just pray that not only this show is a blessing, but that the ebook will be a blessing to you. I'm sure it will, because I've had to use it myself. In fact, feel like I use it, or at least elements of it, pretty much on the regular. And and I tell you what, it's nothing like going from a negative space, whether it's about yourself or things happening to your life, to coming over to a point where even when the negatives happen, you don't ruminating the endless cycle of just being stuck on one mean thing that somebody said to you years ago and that type of thing. And I'll be honest, like that was me. And I'm not saying that the brain detox was the end all or this is like the magic bullet, but it was a very, very helpful tool. I grew up with a low self image, and I've had things said about me. I won't go through them all, but I will say that, apparently my head was probably about this size, even though I was like 6 years old. Maybe it wasn't that size, but I got a clown a lot for the size of my head, glasses, being smart, nerd, and all that stuff. And I've carried that with me for a long time, into adulthood, really, But through the help of God, through tools like the brain detox, through therapy, the Lord's really brought me a mighty long way. And a lot of those things, I'm not hanging on to it because I see my identity in God. He has renewed my vision about myself by renewing my view of Him and how He sees me. And it's an amazing journey, y'all. I'm not going to front. It is an amazing journey. So, like, find yourself a good Christian therapist if you need to, because if you are seeking change, if you are tired of being stuck, if you are tired of having a low self-image about yourself, um, if you are tired of feeling like God doesn't care about you or that He values others more than you, then get help. Get help. You know, I mean, you can go to a pastor and get prayed over, but what you really need somebody that is equipped in dealing with mental health issues. And unfortunately, not all pastors are equipped that way. I know some that are licensed as therapists. Um, but it's like if you've got something wrong with your car, you know, do you go to your pastor like, Pastor, please pray for my car, it needs healing? Maybe some people do, but is that the most effective thing to do? No, you go to a mechanic. If you've got a heart issue, you don't go to an eye specialist. Well, that's all but ball yarn. But that's not the first person you might go to. There could be some correlations, but I think you get my point. You don't go to a window washer if you're having a medical issue. Like, you go to the person that's skilled, that specializes in that issue. And so, what was my point? I lost my point. I think my point was, as I'm going back, yes. So if you're having some challenges with depression, anxiety, whatever it is, go pastor, get prayer, yes, but find a good therapist. As a matter of fact, first point of contact, go to your doctor. And why would you do that? They're not mental health specialists, no, but your doctor, if you have a regular doctor, and I hope you do, has an overall picture of your health, especially if you've been going to them for years. They have seen your lab work and so on and so forth. And the doctor may be able to tell you, hey, you mentioned that you're depressed. Let's do some labs. Let's see what your vitamin D levels are looking like. Because low vitamin D can be linked to depression too. When your vitamin D levels get back up, that puts you on a regimen to, get your vitamin D back up. You may find that, oh, wow, I feel way better. It might just be you're not getting enough sunlight, especially in this fall season where things are typically darker than obviously like the spring or summer. This is where you have seasonal affective disorder, because people are cold and not really trying to hang out outside. The weather's a bit gloomier at some point in the fall, winter season. And so you're just not getting enough vitamin D. Your doctor will be able to tell you that. And your doctor will be able to say, well, we upped your vitamin D. You're still having the symptoms. Let me refer you to a licensed therapist. And so going to the doctor is your number one point person initially. Maybe that the doctor might be the first person to go to. Okay. I won't go into everything else I could say. I feel like I've been all over the place, but it's okay because we're live, and whatever happens live happens and it's recorded. So got to get over it. Anyway, though, we're going to wrap this show up in glory. And I will say, for those of you that hung in there and continue to watch, thank you for hanging in there. And again, check out the free ebook, the 4-step brain detox, 21 days to gaining and maintaining a clean mind. And if you want to take it a step further, go to mhero.painunwasted.com to check out the course that's been created by Mia. And that's about it. That's all I got for today. And so I hope this was a blessing to you and that you will share. I don't know if you want to share this video, but that you'll at least share the resources with someone else. Okay, I just saw a question. Tandeka Alec Moya, how long is the M Hero course? It's as long as you make it. This is a totally self-paced course. The lessons are pre-recorded. And so you can probably do it in a day if you wanted to. It's not necessary to do that, but yeah, it's at your own pace. Okay. Are there any questions? I'll count to 10 to see if anybody has anything to post as far as questions go. But thank you for that question, Thandeka. Okay. If there's no other questions, again, thank you for watching episode 27 of the Business Heroes podcast. Please like, share, subscribe, check out the resources below in the description. And until next time, God bless and goodbye.